popular speakers on it, and is one of the most knowledgeable people on using LinkedIn to, for people to find jobs. The guy who knows far less than the other one makes a lot more money than the other, and she admitted that he makes about 10 to 15 times more than she does. So they're both considered experts, but one's making a lot of money, one's not. It has nothing to do with how much knowledge they have. The one that has more knowledge makes far less, and she's much more professional.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of a wild man, but so it doesn't matter. That's the first thing and I've done hundreds of these things for people this year, and that's one of the most common things to get when I first talk to people about it. They said, "Well, I'm wanting to do this, but I don't know if I'm ready yet. I don't know if if I'm ready to claim that yet." And it's a tough thing to get past, but really got to realize that if you are at the point where you can help somebody and make their business better, make their life better, get them past whatever pain they're having at that moment, you're going to be the hero to them. That's all they want. Nobody wants you to take them somewhere. They want you to get them away from some pain they're having right then. If can do that with your knowledge, you're already there. You're an expert to them. And same thing with me. When we were right before this cruise we went on, I had strep throat. We landed in Tampa Bay, and went to one of those little quick ready clinics to see a doctor. And he probably was not the best doctor in the world. He's in some little barrio of this little Tampa Bay, in this little crappy little
wasn't the best part of town. That's
no, it wasn't. But I listened to every word he said and was very happy. And at that moment he was Einstein to me, because he's the one that could get me the antibiotics and could help make me better. So at that point, he was does the same thing. You don't have to be the best person in the world. He's not the best doctor in the world. He's not probably the best doctor in a 1 mile radius of the
best doctor on that street, because apparently there was a lot of them.
Yeah. There were a lot, but he was good enough at that point, and he helped me with what he helped me need help with, and that's, you guys can do that now. There's probably not a person listening right now that isn't at that point.
Yeah, here's this is an easy way to get over it. All right, one. We've already talked about, you don't have to call yourself the expert. That's one of the biggest things people have a problem with is, I can't call myself the expert. Well, guess what? Don't call yourself the expert. You don't have to call yourself the expert. Remember, it's about doing the things that allow others to call you the expert. And here's what my criteria for being an expert, being a guru, being an authority is criteria number one. Do you know more than your average prospect or your customer about your industry, about what you are providing? All right. You don't have to know everything, but you know more about your prospect or the person that you can help, which is number two. Can you help? Can you help your prospects? If you know more about your prospects, generally about your subject, if you can help your prospects, when you can look a prospect in the eye and genuinely and confidently say, I can help you. And then third, and I think one of the most important pieces is, are you able and willing, right? So really able is second, but are you willing to help them? If you know more than your prospects, you're able to help your prospects, and you're willing to help your prospects, then you meet the criteria for being an expert. You certainly are above and beyond, and you display that above and beyond what a lot of your competitors do. Because I can promise you, in just about any industry, if you look at your competitors, they're still in this mindset of, look at me, look what I've done, look what I've achieved, look at the awards I've won, look how long I've been in business, look at me. But when you are the educator and the advocate for your prospects and customers, you make it so easy for them to be the ones to call you the expert. And that's what they're looking for. They want someone that's going to be able to help them. I want you to look at any of your advertising, look at your marketing, look at the marketing of your competitors and see how many times they use the word I and we versus the word you. And I think you'll see exactly where one of the big problems is with people being able to claim authority these days. And so that brings us to the next piece here. So that's how people can think of themselves or meet that criteria for being an expert. But the next thing that people really have a problem with here, Brian, is they think that that's always something that's down the road. They think that if for me to be, for third-party credible media to talk about me, to refer to me so that I get that credibility, I have to work really hard for a long time in order to earn that credibility so that they can call me the expert. And what Authority Alchemy is really about is, no, let's do it backwards. Let's get them to call you the expert and give you that credibility so that you can be seen as that and very, very quickly. And I think that's one of the things that people get really surprised at, how quickly they can be in that position of authority. Talk about that for a minute. The disparity of the perception that people have that in order to claim authority is going to take me years. It's something down the road. There's a lot of pieces of the puzzle that I have to put together. And then if I'm lucky, I'll be recognized as authority versus let's get recognized immediately so that you can skip all that stuff and start going out there and being that educator and advocate.
No, absolutely. And that comes back to one of the phrases I use a lot when I'm explaining this to people. And it's just a perception is reality. As soon as you're perceived as an expert, that you are as a expert in reality to everybody that sees you. It's a powerful thing that I've been really surprised over the last few years as I've been playing with this, how fast it works. And one of the things it does take, though, is just taking some actions. There's a few things that we're going to talk about on this show, of this podcast over the weeks, giving you little tips on how to do this stuff. And it's amazing how fast these things can happen. But like, for example, one of the people that was a bona fide expert, and they have got a 7-figure business I'll give the niche specifics, but they're one of the top people in their industry, just been killing it. And I did the same thing. One of the authority projects for them, got them featured a bunch of places, a bunch like Wall Street Journal, ABC, NBC, all those big media outlets, and they changed their social media profile picture to include those logos. And when they did that, they had one of the highest commented on and liked pictures of the last couple of years. So that's one of the most popular things they've done, and they got business out of it for nothing more than just showing they were featured places. This is somebody that's a well-known person in their industry, and something as small as that just made a landslide of difference for them. That's just a perception. It's just showing everybody else that, hey, these third-party people say I'm cool also. It's not just our little industry. So it's some powerful things out there.
And that can be done a lot quicker than a lot of people think. I know some of the times when we talk to clients, and it always kind of makes me chuckle when I hear that word the phrase down the road. Oh, that'll be great. We can do that down the road. Oh, that'll be great that I can be featured on, some of these big media sites down the road, or that I may be able to do radio down the road. And when I say no, down the road, I'm talking about in the next 48 hours. Yeah. And that's when they just really get, it's almost like the roller coaster just started clicking, and it's like, they didn't realize that, why wait? Why go through all that when you don't have to? Let's get recognized now for the authority that you are, because there's no need to wait. People have that I've got to work towards. No, it's got to be harder than this. It can't be, I've got to pay more dues. And it comes down to what we call, actually we manufacture authority, we manufacture celebrity, but let's look at the realities. What celebrity is not manufactured? And I hate
Miley
to say
Cyrus.
Yeah. Miley Cyrus Kardashian. That's it, right?
Yeah. That's right.
Do you think, did these people do anything? They fell down one day and they got back up and they were celebrity, right?
Yeah.
Through no fault of their own.
They just fell into it. Yeah, one of the things I always look at, and it's because I'm a guy in Texas, and everything comes back to a football analogy for me almost. But this is the same thing, like in football game, you don't go out there and say, okay, we're going to wait until later in the game to start trying to score some touchdowns. You just go out there, balls to the wall, and just try to start making them right away. And that's the same thing with this. You don't want to wait to get on a radio show. I can tell you, first time you go on a radio show, you're probably going to screw up. You're probably going to sound like an idiot. But it's not going to be as bad as you think it is. It's going to be worse to you. But you're still going to be on the radio. You're going to do it the first time. The first time you get interviewed by somebody on TV, you might stumble a little bit. So what? It's just going to happen. You just have to go out there and just do it, because 1 year sitting on the sidelines is just going to get you nothing. You're going to be the same place you were a year ago, and you're just going to be kicking yourself.
No, that's it. That it reminds me of you use football. Football is a perfect analogy. You could work all week on practicing your special teams and this situation and that situation. And the first kickoff, you receive it and you run it all the way back for a 90-yard touchdown. Do you say, whoa, time out, let's do over? We practiced a lot more stuff than that. That was too easy. We didn't deserve that. When Mike Tyson used to go in and knock somebody out in 35 seconds, do they say, whoa, I put in way too much work for it to be over this quick? It shouldn't have been that easy. Get back up. Let's do it again. There's no reason. Don't make yourself, or don't feel that you have to go through, all this, pain points or suffering in order to do it. I often use.
I got a really good little story about that. It's one that Kevin Nations always tells. So I'll borrow this from him. Hopefully I don't butcher it too bad. But it was a story about two guys that are high school friends. One goes on to become a dentist, and one works at the local factory. And one of the guy that works at the local factory gets a really bad toothache, goes in and sees the dentist, looks at him and says, well, how much is that going to be to get my tooth fixed? He goes, that'll be about $5,000. And the guy that works at the factory goes, wow, that's a lot of money. How long is that going to take? And the dentist says, well, it's going to be about 10 minutes. And he goes, well, $5,000? God, I make like $10 an hour. That's a couple months worth of salary for me. He says, why is that so expensive for such a short amount of time? And the dentist said, well, if you want, I can take a lot longer to pull your tooth out. So it's the same thing. That it's okay to go to have things fast. You don't have to suffer and wait. Suffer through the agony to get to the same place if you can get it faster. And that's what we're talking about with this Authority Alchemy, of how we're able to manufacture this and get it done much quicker. That's
exactly it. And I think one of the analogies I use, and I think one that hopefully can kind of sum it up. And one thing you're going to find, Brian and I we like analogies. We stories, they work out better because we don't know any big words to make us sound smart. So, but is you can work a long time to learn how to be, what is it? The guy that's the archer, the guy, the bow and arrow. Let's keep it simple, right? You can work a long time to be a master at archery. And you can set up your target, and you can practice, and you can aim, and it may take months, it may take you years for you to hit the center of that bullseye. But what we're saying is there is a way that you can display your authority, to display your expertise. And we're not trying to convince anyone to fool people. All right. This is just, we get it out there, get it in front of people. But what we want to show you how to do is instead, let's shoot your arrow and then paint the bullseye around it afterwards. And that's much easier. And it's a much quicker way to be able to do this, to claim that authority that you really do deserve. And so the reason that we wanted to dedicate this first episode around the mindset and around getting you thinking what authority is, rather than giving you all these old tactics that you can use to do that, is because we know that you would sit on them waiting for down the road when you deserved to use them. We're saying right now, if you can look a prospect, a customer in the eye and confidently say, I can help you, and you have information and you're willing and able to share that information, you're willing and able to better your customers' lives, your customers' business, then you deserve to claim that authority. And remember, it's not about you calling yourself the expert. It's about doing the things that are required, doing the right things so that others can, and you can make it easy for others to be able to call you the expert, to call you the guru, to call you the authority. And when you do that in the right way, then it comes much quicker and much easier than you ever could have imagined. So, Brian, bottom line is that's what Authority Alchemy is. What was that definition again? Turning something ordinary and common into something special, right?
Right.
That's
right?
exactly.
So we want to do that, and then how to leverage it also, because we're also not saying